The air inside the Conrad Hotel ballroom was thick with the scent of money. Not literal cash, but the perfume of influence. Crisp suits, designer heels, Rolex glints, and champagne flutes filled the towering, glass-paneled hall like ornaments on a Christmas tree. This was the annual Summit of Visionaries in downtown Chicago, a gala known for pulling together some of the brightest minds and biggest checkbooks in the startup and tech world. Everyone who was anyone in Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and even select faces from Hollywood had RSVP'd. The anticipation centered on a mystery sponsor, who had apparently donated a massive sum to the startup accelerator behind the event. But no one knew who he or she was, just that they would be delivering the keynote tonight. Maya Trenton adjusted her Givenchy dress and scanned the room like a hawk. As an up-and-coming venture capitalist in New York, she wasn't just here to socialize. She was here to be seen, to get noticed, and ideally, to get an invite to the post-gala private investor roundtable, where the real deals happened. Across the room, her eyes narrowed on a man stepping into the venue who looked wildly out of place. He wore a wrinkled brown blazer over a faded blue shirt, khakis that didn't match, and old walking shoes. His hair was slightly disheveled, and his glasses hung crookedly over his nose. He moved slowly, like he wasn't in a rush. No name tag, no assistant, no entourage. He looked more like a lost tourist than a millionaire. She leaned toward her friend Lexi. "You see that guy?" Lexi chuckled into her glass. "Oh my God, who let the janitor in?" Maya smirked. "You'd think security would be tighter. This is a founder's gala, not a soup kitchen." Laughter followed, quiet but cruel. A few nearby guests turned and glanced at the man too. One smirked. Another whispered, but he didn't seem to notice. Or maybe he did and just didn't care. The man walked past a group of sharply dressed startup founders who had just exited. Harvard and MIT, one of them, Eric, a smug crypto investor, muttered just loud enough for a few people to hear, "Wrong ballroom, buddy. Men's shelter's next door." Still, the man walked on. He paused briefly at the hors d'oeuvre table, picked up a stuffed fig like he was reading its ingredients, and ate it. He gave a small nod, seemingly to himself, and walked toward a far corner where the lighting was dimmer. No one greeted him. No one offered a drink. He sat by himself, folding his arms, looking toward the stage with a quiet, expectant expression. Maya rolled her eyes. Probably someone's uncle who got lost. Poor guy. An hour passed. The jazz quartet played on. Conversations flowed about IPOs, Series B rounds, AI ethics, and who might get acquired next. At 8:45 p.m., the lights dimmed. Conversations faded as the host, George Langston, a well-known tech incubator CEO, walked up to the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen," George began, his voice smooth and commanding, "thank you for joining us tonight at what we believe will be a defining moment for innovation in America. We've seen incredible talent over the last decade, but tonight is different." He paused dramatically. "Tonight we are honored to welcome not just a sponsor, but a true visionary. A man whose ideas have already changed thousands of lives, quietly, powerfully, and without the noise so many others seek." There was a ripple of curiosity across the room. George smiled. "Please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Thomas W. Elridge." The name meant nothing to most of the room. A few heads turned in confusion. Even Maya frowned slightly. But George stepped aside and gestured toward the dim corner, and slowly the poorly dressed man stood up. Maya blinked. "Wait." He walked up the steps with calm, steady footsteps. Eric, the crypto guy, whispered, "No way." Gasps flared. Heads turned. Someone actually dropped a glass. Thomas Elridge reached the microphone and adjusted it slightly. For a moment, he simply looked out at the audience. Not with pride, not with arrogance, with gentle patience, like a teacher who knows his students haven't yet figured out the lesson. He cleared his throat. "I wasn't always this fashionable," he said with a straight face. A ripple of uneasy laughter followed. "But I never liked suits," he continued. "Never liked how they made me feel, like I had to dress up to be taken seriously. I spent the first 10 years of my adult life being ignored in boardrooms because I wore sneakers and carried ideas instead of credentials." He paused. "Now I fund those boardrooms." People sat straighter. "I grew up in rural Indiana. My mom cleaned motel rooms and my dad died when I was 8. We had dial-up internet until I was 17. But I taught myself code on a junk laptop from a thrift store. I didn't go to college. I built a platform for online tutors from my garage. It failed. I built another one. Failed again. A hush fell over the room. The third one took off. Then I sold it. Started investing, quietly, no press, no TED Talks, just results. Over the last decade, I've backed 94 startups. 37 of them are profitable. 10 are valued over 100 million. Eyes widened. Phones discreetly came out. I never came to events like this. I never fit in, but tonight I came to deliver one message. He leaned forward slightly. Brilliance doesn't always come in a tailored suit. Silence. I watched the looks tonight. Heard the jokes. Some of you laughed at me. Some pitied me. That's fine. But what's not fine is when you take that instinct into business. When you assume the guy who looks out of place doesn't belong. That mindset kills opportunity. Maya sat frozen. Her face flushed. Lexi looked like she wanted to disappear under the table. Thomas continued. I'm not here to call anyone out. I'm here to offer something. He clicked a remote. The screen behind him lit up. The Grit Fund, 100 million for underestimated founders. Gasps. No warm intros. No Ivy League requirement. No dress codes. Just ideas and the work to back them up. If you're here tonight, you'll have a chance to refer one founder from outside your social circle. One person you wouldn't normally bet on. Let's change the game. Not just for those who already look like winners, but for those who've never been allowed in the race. The room erupted into applause, but some clapped slower than others. Thomas nodded once humbly and stepped down. George returned to the stage, now clearly energized. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elridge is the real deal. The Grit Fund opens tomorrow morning, and every single one of you has access. But remember his words tonight. The rest of the night unfolded in a haze. People surrounded Thomas. Maya stayed seated. She had nothing clever to say anymore. Every joke from earlier echoed in her head like static. Eric tried to approach Thomas for a photo, but was politely waved off. Maya stood up, her drink untouched, and walked outside into the cool Chicago night. She leaned on a pillar and looked at her own reflection in the tall black glass of the hotel's modern facade. For years, she had believed her instincts were sharp, that she could smell potential. The moment someone walked in the room, tonight that illusion shattered. The man in the wrong suit wasn't wrong at all. She was, and as the stars blinked above the windy city skyline, Maya vowed to change the way she judged people, not just for business, but for herself. Because real visionaries don't always come dressed for the occasion. Sometimes they are the occasion.